How well do you remember the 60s? Test your memory with this fun trivia quiz and see how many you still know. Keep track of your score and share it in the comments at the end. Let's get started. Which soft drink was promoted in the 1960s with the slogan, "The Uncola"? The answer is B, 7-Up. Which McDonald's menu item made its official nationwide debut in 1968? That was A, the Big Mac. Who played the original Doctor when Doctor Who first aired in 1963? It was B, William Hartnell. Which artist performed the final set on the main stage at Woodstock in 1969? The answer is A, Jimi Hendrix. What spacecraft carried Yuri Gagarin on the first human spaceflight in 1961? That was C, Vostok 1. Which diet program, launched in 1963, went on to become a major international weight loss trend? It's A, Weight Watchers. Who followed Neil Armstrong onto the lunar surface during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969? It was C, Buzz Aldrin. In 1968, the USS Pueblo was seized by naval forces from which nation? It was C, North Korea. Before Brasilia became the capital of Brazil in 1960, which city held the title? A, Rio de Janeiro. What was the title of the first James Bond feature film released in 1962? It was called B, Dr. No. Which major sporting championship debuted in 1967? It was A, the Super Bowl. In what year was Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated? B, in 1968. When Fruit Loops first launched in 1963, which color was not part of the original cereal? C, green. Who starred in the title role of Dr. Zhivago in the 1965 film adaptation? It was B, Omar Sharif. In 1965, which act of protest was made a federal offense in the United States? It's C, burning draft cards. Which U.S. president was assassinated in Dallas in 1963? That was A, John F. Kennedy. The mop top hairstyle became iconic thanks to which 1960s band? It was A, the Beatles. Which major Renaissance city suffered a devastating flood in November 1966? The answer is B, Florence. In 1964, Jack Ruby was found guilty of killing which accused assassin? B, Lee Harvey Oswald. Which TV show premiered in 1969 and introduced Jim Henson's Muppets? That was C, Sesame Street. The first woman to journey into space in June 1963 came from which nation? She was from B, the Soviet Union. In the 1968 film The Love Bug, what was the name of the car? The car's name was B, Herbie. Good Vibrations was recorded by which 1960s band? You got it, A, the Beach Boys. What is the name of Barbie's younger sister, first released in 1964? Her name is B, Skipper. Which of these artists did not perform at Woodstock in 1969? A, Elvis Presley didn't perform at Woodstock. Which creative toy was advertised as a simple and fascinating way to make a million marvelous patterns? That would be C, the spirograph. In what year was the first portable electronic calculator introduced? It was B, 1967. In the original run of the Flintstones, what was the name of Fred and Wilma's daughter? Her name was C, Pebbles. Which team won the very first Super Bowl in 1967? It was C, the Green Bay Packers. Which style of pants became a major unisex fashion trend in the 1960s? A, bell-bottoms. In 1963, Thomas Starzl performed the world's first successful transplant of which organ? The answer is C, the liver. Why was Muhammad Ali banned from boxing in the late 1960s? A, for refusing the draft. Which 1960s children's toy used a real heat source to make edible treats? That's right, B, the Easy Bake Oven. Which Alfred Hitchcock film released in 1960 became a classic psychological thriller? It was A, the movie Psycho. In what year did the very first Walmart store open? It opened in B, 1962. In 1964, Elizabeth Taylor married which actor for the first time? It's A. Richard Burton. During which mission did the United States accomplish the first manned moon landing? The answer is B. Apollo 11. What was the title of Elvis Presley's first gospel album released in 1960? It was called B. His Hand in Mine. Which fashion designer is widely credited with popularizing the miniskirt in the 1960s? That was A. Mary Quant. Which 1960s dance craze took off after Chubby Checker released his hit version of the song? C. The Twist. Which doll, introduced in the 1960s, was created with a military theme? Correct. B. G.I. Joe. Which 1964 film includes the famous word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? It's C. Mary Poppins. In the 1960s, the vinyl LP became standard. What do the letters LP stand for? It stands for A. Long play. Which artist was shot and seriously wounded by Valerie Solanas in 1968? That was A. Andy Warhol. Which government began construction of the Berlin Wall in August 1961? It was B. East Germany. Which 1969 film featured Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, and Jack Nicholson? The answer is A. Easy Rider. What was the title of the first widely recognized computer game released in 1962? It's C. Space War. Which member of the Beatles married Yoko Ono? It was A. John Lennon. What was the focus of the SALT negotiations that formally began in 1969? The answer is C. Nuclear weapons. The 1960s were often called the dawning of the age of which zodiac sign? It's A. Aquarius. Tell me in the comments how many you got right, and click the thumbs up if you would love to go back and visit the 60s again. Thank you so much for playing.